I'm going to talk a little bit today about RFK Jr. A few months back during the election, I was watching RFK Jr. Andrew Schulz's podcast. So Andrew Schulz is one of my favorite podcasters and comedians. I think he's a really funny guy. And he had RFK Jr. on. And I'm not too into politics. I haven't lived in America for a long time. So I wasn't really that familiar with RFK Jr., but I saw that he was in the Trump group. And so as I was listening to him talk,
He was always in front of my father.
he reminded me a lot of myself. And because his voice is really strained, and he has a condition called Spasmodic Dysphonia, which is a condition I'm very familiar with because I thought I had it in my early 20s, and it was really frustrating. So what is spasmodic dysphonia? It's kind of this condition where your vocal cords almost like go into spasm, right? And so you speak in a very muffled way, right? And I still speak in a slightly muffled way, but a lot less than when I was really doing bad. And there were points in my 20s when I was really muffled. Like I would feel like I'm yelling to speak to someone. If there was even, if there was even like a few people in a room, like I felt like I couldn't talk. And that devastates a person who is pretty social, which is I was, growing up. And all of that started happening, I think, after I'd had my wisdom teeth out. So my wisdom teeth didn't cause major like health issues, but the voice was one thing that I do think that the wisdom teeth might have contributed towards. How do you treat spasmodic dysphonia? Like they don't really know how to fix it. Why? Because of course the root cause is biomechanical. So until they understand his biomechanical stuff, all this other, things the ways that they treat it are completely more or less useless. So one thing they do is they inject Botox into the spasm muscle and things feel good for a little while, and then the Botox wears off and you're back to square one and you got to keep getting Botox. And every time you get Botox, the effect is less and less. That's because you're only treating symptoms, right? To treat root cause, you got to solve the actual structural issue. Anyway, so in 2016, so this was the mystery of my life. My adult life was fixing my voice. Like I had other issues, but none of them bothered me as much as my voice in my 20s and 30s because I was traveling all over the world, meeting all kinds of people, was naturally pretty driven, pretty like outgoing person. But when you can't be heard without feeling like you're yelling, does a lot of damage to your confidence, to your personality, everything. And then in 2016, so 14 is when I had my big kind of health issue, and then 15 I was coming back, and 16 I was first figuring out the method that I use now. And when I took this stuff to what I call the end for a very short while, the thing, like I looked really good, I functioned really good, but that almost didn't matter to me. Like I almost don't remember that. Like it was nice, but it was like secondary. The thing that I remembered more than everything else was my voice. And for that short period, my voice was completely free for the first time since the time I was in high school, where I was talking it. I didn't have to think about my voice. And it was so like crisp and loud. I remember, I was managing a team, and compared to the year or two before where I was struggling, everything got so easy. Like I almost felt like I had this superpower where all of a sudden I could convince anyone of anything because I just loved the way that my voice sounded. Like I loved talking. Like I remember like this one guy I was talking to, he was like, Ken, like you don't shut up. And then this is a guy that like for other periods of my life was like almost the quiet guy because, it was such a struggle to talk. And then all of a sudden my voice comes back and I love talking and my personality almost flips. Like I became this very, I want to say, charismatic, talkative person, almost like, without any like effort, and that was the crazy thing. But it was really the ability to communicate with others and connect and seeing the effect of that communication on others. That was such a drug. Right. Like, and I, to this day, like that is the thing that drives me more than anything else. And so when I'm done again, hopefully in some months, that is the thing that I'm looking forward to probably more than everything else is all of this. And I think it relates to the hyoid positioning and all this stuff restructures. And then all of a sudden you have this nice, crisp voice back where even in a loud room you can just talk in a normal speaking voice and it projects and it's got really good resonance. And this is why you see models and athletes have such strong voices usually effortlessly. because they have really good structure here. I'm very confident that RFK Jr., if he was doing these biomechanics, he would fix the spasmodic dysphonia. The only real reason for the spasmodic dysphonia is that these structures are messed up. And you can tell just by looking at him, right? Like, you tell that something's wrong with the neck and like something's off about his posture. And yet, he's a very long way from deciding that it's biomechanical. And yet, he's in charge of like America's health. So hopefully, I hear that he's an open-minded guy. I really think that he should try these biomechanics on himself. And when he sees the impact and how it fixes eventually his biomechanical condition, which he's had for all these years and probably has some of the most expensive doctors out there trying to fix it, and they did nothing. And when we fix it, hopefully he's still in office and he takes this and he goes crazy with these biomechanics and fixes, we put together policies that make America healthy again.